Rise and shine, my mariposas. Rise and shine. Well, I can tell it's time for me to get my ass on here and update. Because y'all are just missing me, I guess. So, I am traveling. I quit my job at 59, set myself up to where I could travel. I left the Pacific Northwest in February the 22nd of 2025, and I drove to Texas for my son's wedding. And then I came to Florida to visit my sister for her birthday and also scout out the areas that I had been looking at to see what it would be like to, retire up here. And I'm in the villages. So, but I need to tell y'all something. And I know that you guys are, probably want me to rant and rave, but let me tell you, I've been hanging around these places where our elders hang out, like our parents of the Gen Xers and whatnot. And let me tell you, they are not ready and prepared for what's coming. So I've had some conversations with a few Gen Xers and then some boomers, and telling you've got to protect yourself, right? Especially if you are a female, right? And you're retired. I saw this one lady on TikTok. She's real popular, I guess, on TikTok. And she's dating and whatnot and talking about her dates. And she's inviting strange men up into her house. It's like, what in the world are you doing? You don't invite strangers you don't know just because you're going out on a date or you've been out on a date with them into your private home. What are you thinking? Would you tell your daughter to do that? No. So why are you doing it? Anyway. So I'm looking in the area and everything else. And so I'm going to tell you a story. So if you don't want no story time, then go ahead and click off and ta-ta for now. And thanks for checking me out for 3 minutes, right? I used to work in the funeral home and cemetery. I've done 3 different locations. One in Virginia, one in Georgia, and another one, I can't recall where. But I got out of it because I saw how they take advantage of families on the worst day of their life. And it ain't you that's planning your shit, right? It's your whoever you appointed. If you have family, it's your children or your, sibling or something like that. But if you are not prepared and prepare them, it's the worst thing you can do for them in your passing is to leave them responsible to make decisions about what to do with you after you're gone, right? So that brought me up to my advocacy business that I was starting after I got out of the funeral and cemetery home business, because it's a corporation and it's designed to milk your loved ones on the worst day of their life, making major financial decisions that are going to be tens of thousands, if not $100,000, right? And they're making it out of guilt, sorrow. They're not thinking clearly. They're already in grief. They're in shock. And if they find out that there's a life insurance policy, now let me tell you, life insurance is for your beneficiaries afterwards so that they can have some kind of an inheritance, right? It's not for your burial, but they don't know that. And the funeral home director is going to find out if they've got any life insurance if you have not already prepaid for burial insurance. Two different things, right? So they would find out how much life insurance, if you had no arrangements and you did not buy and take care of all your stuff before your passing, or unfortunately you had an early passing of a loved one who didn't have arrangements either, right? Two different types of insurance. You got to make sure that you have burial insurance and you have everything written down that you want to happen to you. Buried, cremation, don't do ceremony or anything graveside or anything like that. Don't do anything with the funeral home. Don't do anything with the cemetery except, do the internment, whether it's mausoleum or a niche for your urn, or, and then there's other types of final arrangements too. There's watermation, where you can be dissolved by water. You can donate your whole body to science and they don't have to worry about burying nothing. And there's also a composting now services. So you can have, but you need to let people know what the fuck you want to do instead of making them have life-altering decisions on the worst day of their life, right? And then that leads me to something else. While you're living, I worked for an elderly couple, Miss Pat and Mr. Rich. They were in their 80s. She was a little spitfire, but Mr. Rich, he was from Florida. They were living in the Pacific Northwest. They met online and they were dating. It was their second marriage, maybe third. I don't remember. However, he became incapacitated. The county put her on a restraining order. She wasn't even able to go to their house because they was fighting and arguing all the time and calling the popo. So they got sick of it. When I met her, she was living in her office. And then the things that I saw happen to them, neither one of them were prepared for. So fast forward, Mr. Rich is not in very good health. He gets deemed incapacitated. Can't make decisions for his own self. Can his wife do it? Nope, because she's on a restraining order and not allowed to have any contact with him, right? Not even be at her own house that they own, right? He has children, but they've got to go to court because the court is going to appoint him a guardian. And that's what happened. It doesn't automatically go. Guardianship does not go to your family automatically. No. That's a court process. Unless you have a living, revocable trust. If you have a will, you still got to have a will. But if you only have a will, and that's for after you are gone and out of here, that's when that takes effect. You don't have any paperwork saying who you want to be a executor, a guardian, a what's the C word? What's the C word that they have? I took notes on it the other day. It'll come to me. No. Anyway. If you don't have a living revocable trust while you're living, that tells the courts that should you become incapacitated and should you become incapable of making your own decisions, while the living trust is set up and you funded it, you're in charge of the trust, right? However, you've got a co-trustee named that if you, I gotta fly in here. If you become incapacitated for any reason or anything, then you've named already somebody and it doesn't go through the courts. So, if you do not have that paperwork in place, you're going to lose all your shit. Let me tell you what. I got it in my notes. So, should you be deemed incapacitated and you are not, you have to go to court and the court will make the judgment if you're not if you're capable or not of making your own life decisions. So guess what rights are at stake? Let's see my notes. So, what rights are at stake? Determining residence. You no longer get to determine where you live. Consent to medical treatment. You are no longer able to make your own medical decisions. You make end of life decisions. You are no longer able to make your own final arrangements and get you. This is if you get an a guardian ad litem, is what it's called, from the courts. If you become deemed incapable of handling your shit. You can no longer possess a driver's license. You cannot manage, buy, sell property, and that's not just your home. That's every property and casualty insurance is what I'm licensed in. Anything that's considered property is you can't manage it, you can't buy any, and you can't sell what you got because now you're deemed incapable of doing your own thing, right? So I'm trying to put you up here on the stand. Okay, so let's see where we're at. That's number 5. Number 6. You can't own or possess a firearm or weapons of any kind. So no knives, no Couboutins, no archery, no bows and arrows, none of that. You cannot contract or file any lawsuits. So, should your guardian ad litem be ripping your ass off, which is what happened to Mr. Rich with his, they were ripping his pockets left and right, emptying that shit, and there was nothing that his family could do. All they could do is sit back and watch because he didn't have his paperwork in order before. He only had a will. He didn't have a living revocable trust. So then he also can't marry. You can't marry, and you can't get divorced either. And you can't vote. So, should you become incapacitated or deemed not capable of making your own life decisions anymore or being responsible for your shit and financial responsibilities, and you don't have a living revocable trust in place, all you have is a will and your final arrangements, and everybody knows what's going on and everything, get in an accident, have a heart attack, come out the hospital, and you can't take care of yourself. You're fucked. So, if you're picking up what I'm putting down and you need some help, I also review your contracts and your loved ones' contracts if they've made final arrangements to make sure that they have absolutely everything they need, because there's little costs in there that they don't tell you about. Because, you know, Mama and Papa, they probably bought their plots, but let me tell you, you got to make sure that they've got opening and closing, that they've got a memorial already worked out. If they're a veteran, you got to have their DD 214, and your parents, if one of your parents are veterans, they get free spots in the veterans thing. If they have arrangements in one state and they've moved and they don't longer want to have those arrangements in the old state, you can transfer them for free. So if you would like to get, and there's all kinds of other costs in there too. There's perpetual care where they'll put flowers on your loved one's spot for you, be it a niche, a mausoleum, or a ground burial site. But you got to get a memorial. You got to pay to have the memorial installed, and they want you to buy everything through them. And guess what? You don't have to. So, if you would like to get your paperwork in order, especially if you are a retired female and you're out here dating and you're thinking about getting involved with another partner or whatever and getting married, you definitely better protect yourself if anything should happen to him or yourself. Because let me tell you, as soon as something happens to him and he's got children and everything else, they're gonna love you or hate you during the marriage process. But let me tell you, something coming up happening to Papa, and you're going to be the Wicked Witch of the West, and they can't wait to get your ass the fuck out of everything that he owned because you didn't have a living revocable trust, and neither did he. So then it goes to will status or court. If he's deemed incapable of taking incapacitated, and not able to take care of his shit, you're not able to take care of your shit, then you get appointed a court guardian ad litem. Watch that movie, I Care a Lot, and see what court-appointed people can do. They can sell your property, they can put you in a rest home and lock you up, and they're only required to report on your well-being once a year to the court. And nobody follows up to make sure that what they said was true. So, if you're picking up what I'm putting down and you need some help, make sure you send me an email, purelifeenterprisellc@gmail.com. And make sure the subject says, I need paperwork. Okay? And I can review the documents that you already have, make sure that you have everything in place. I can point you in the direction. If you don't have a living revocable trust in place, then I can give you all that information and everything. But I'm telling you, you better get your paperwork in order if you are a Gen Z or a millennium or the parents of. And at the funeral home cemetery, they have what's called a planning guide. You can go in there and get one for free. Don't give them your name. Don't give them your address. Don't give them your phone number. Nothing, because they want that for marketing purposes and they're coming after your pockets. And it's a family planning guide. It's for you to put all of your information, medical, passwords to social media, bank accounts, all the pertinent information, doctors, who you want called, what services you want if you have not planned them yet, where the living trust is and who it's through, where your will's at, who your lawyer is, who your financial planner is, and all that information. Put it in a gallon Ziploc bag. Let them know that it's in the freezer. The house catches on fire. Well, I don't know with these damn fires now. They're burning metal and everything else. Flood, whatever. As long as it don't wash your freezer away, you're okay. And let whoever is in charge have that conversation with them ahead of time. This is what I want. This is where my information is. You got to have adult conversations. And ladies, if you're out there dating, protect yourselves. Especially if you're, women of a certain age like us. If it's not good for your daughter, it's not good for you. Okay? I love you all. Remember who you are and what it is that you came here to do, because no one else can do what you came here to do. I'm having a fabulous time. I have narrowed down the area that I want to be in. And so now I'm just doing spark deliveries in the area and stacking my money so that I can go pay for my space that I found on a permaculture food forest. All right. And then I'm free to go and do my, ceremonies and helping people not get taken advantage of on their loved one's worst day of their life. And also making sure that these elders in the villages and other Gen Zers have their paperwork and shit together. I mean, what's the point of coming up here to retire? Because everybody comes here to die, right? They come to Florida to have the best time of their lives in their last days. I'm up here in the villages watching them all tootle around in their little golf carts, having a great time, hula hoop in class and everything else. It's amazing. It's funny. But what's important is to make sure that you're taken care of if anything happens, because I've also seen fire truck and ambulances every day, right here on the main drag. So take care of yourself. Make sure you got your paperwork. Papers, make sure you got the paperwork. And send me an email, purelifeenterprisellc@gmail.com, or put something in the comments below. Let me know. Having a will is not good enough. You got to have all of it. Okay? I love you.